Hey guys, this is DFS Chan. Here to talk about this January 2nd, 2022. Happy New Year. The EPL Soccer Slate. It's a three-game slate today. As mentioned before, it's a busy time of the year for EPL soccer. So yeah, today features the three-game slate, where there's not like many clear favorites, and not even the elite teams that are at the top of the standings today. So I think this is the type of slate where we typically have the biggest edge overall because of our soccer knowledge and because of the way that the slate is and the pricing is structured. Obviously, I'll point out some value plays, which I think are very important on slates like this. The players that are not mostly known to the general public. So I do think that's the edge that we can obtain by going through the slates like this in each of the games within the slate. So no further ado, Brentford versus Aston Villa is the first game. It's basically a toss-up game. Aston Villa is a slight favorite on the road, and then Everton versus Brighton. This is gonna be a good game, more of a defensive game probably. Everton is a slight favorite at home at plus 163, so there's not even a negative or minus bigger favorite in these two games. And then Leeds versus Burnley. Leeds is a is the biggest favorite on the slate, at home minus 105 against Burnley. But Leeds has been very leaky on defense, so I do think this is going to be more of an open game compared to the other two. So we'll just dive in. So let's dive into the Leeds game first, actually, because I think most people will see that it has the biggest odds, most favorite odds. So I think a lot of people will flock to the Leeds game, which they should. So let's see if both teams are projected to score. Yes. And over match goals, over 2.5 goals. So 2.5 is where it's at. The line is set. So I do think maybe it'll end 2-1. That's the most likely outcome, obviously, in favor of Leeds. So I do think it's going to be an open game. So I think that's a good game to target. Leeds United always starts with Rafinha. Rafinha takes the monopoly of their sets. He's a great play in the open play. So I think Rafinha is probably going to be the most popular player, most highly owned player on the slate. And then after that, it really goes kind of level down, tier down to the next high floor guys like Jack Harrison, Daniel James, Stuart Dallas. And then the other guys are kind of like GPP plays. If they're lined up like this, 3-4-3 on the formation, I really don't like. Typically, I like there's like who plays the striker, but in the Leeds, the way that the Leeds play, their strikers are not set up for success, in my opinion. I mean, they can score a goal, and maybe chasing a goal is not the worst idea on the slate, but for me, I typically tend to, play the high floor guys, and whoever plays the striker today, I don't know if I'll like them as much as, let's say, Jack Harrison. If he starts, out on the wing like this, he's gonna have more space to play with, maneuver with. So I do like Jack Harrison today, and then Stuart Dallas, sometimes takes sets as well, share of sets with Rafinha, but if he plays on the right wing like this, I do like him a lot. Firpo on the other side, I mean, he's okay. He's not as of a more of a as much of a crosser as Dallas is. So for what it's worth, I don't like him as much as the other guys that I just talked about. Long GPP shots to score. Probably Tyler Roberts. But he does not have much of a floor if he plays in the central midfielder position like this. Now, if he's out on the wide, he's a more of an attacking guy. He can cross the ball sometimes and all, but if he's lined up in the central midfielder position like this, I don't like him as much. The other side of the matchup, Burnley, it all starts with Dwight McNeil. McNeil takes a lot of crosses. He is also decent in the open play. He hasn't been as good this season compared to last season, and that's partially due to Burnley being a bad team. As you can see, they're in the relegation zone, the bottom three teams. Um, a draw, loss, draw, loss. I mean, that's terrible. And then Leeds has been in bad form too. So, like I said, it's going to be an open play, open game rather. So bottom two teams, two of the bottom five. I mean, that's pretty bad. So we'll see where it leads us. But I think there will still be plenty of fantasy points to be had here. So, like I said, McNeil is the starting point for Burnley, highest floor guy. And then after that, it really falls off. I know Westwood used to take some set pieces, and then he used to have some floor, but not recently, not as of recent. I guess for GPP purposes, I think that's probably it for cash consideration. For GPP purposes, I would definitely consider Maxwell Cornet, Cornet, whoever you say it. So, for Burnley, if they score, I think Cornet will definitely be involved in one of those goals because he's a really good player for that team. Has been a decent player along with McNeil. I do think Cornet does not have much of a floor, but I think he's more of an attacking guy. So I like him a lot for GPP purposes. So these two guys. And then rest of I guess, everybody else is really in consideration for GPP purposes, even their center backs, because they like to go up and head the ball on set pieces and such, but not much of a floor. Loughton and Taylor used to be crossers, but not this season, not as much, because they don't like to go up and down that much. But against Leeds, like I said, I mean, it's going to be an open game. So I do like Chris Wood as a goal chasing option if your salary permits, and Goodmanson. So, like I said, any of these guys could score against Leeds, but like I said, McNeil and Cornet are probably the two guys that I would focus. Next matchup of the slate: Brentford versus Aston Villa. Both teams to score. It was dead even, so we'll see. Match goals at over 1.5, under 2.5. So it's going to be a slow game, more of a defensive minded approach for both teams. Aston Villa has been up and down ever since they hired Steven Gerrard. And Brentford had a hot start to the season. And then now they kind of faced off. Let's see where they're on the standings. Yeah, like mid tier, middle of the table. So I do think, let me see the form that they're in. Loss, win, loss, win, loss. Loss, draw, win, loss, loss. Okay. So I guess Aston Villa is due for a win, given the pattern. But who's at home? Brentford's at home. So like I said, Brentford hasn't been playing that well lately. So it's really a toss-up in my opinion. Brentford's at home, so I think that gives a little bump. But Aston Villa, depending on who they start, I know they're dealing with some injuries here for both teams here. Rico Henry, if he doesn't start, that's a huge blow for that team. So we'll see. I know Serge Conyos is back and he's starting, and then Ivan Toney's starting too. So yeah, let's dive into Brentford. Brentford has some good pieces in my opinion, but they just haven't been playing well as a team. I know, like I said, Serge Conyos, Matthias Jensen, and then Ivan Toney are probably the top three guys they always start with. And then Rasmussen, he's been starting in the left back, like I said, in place of Rico Henry due to his injury. So I think those four guys are definitely in consideration for decent floor guys. And then everybody else for GPP, like Wisa, he doesn't have any floor really. And then Norgard and Onyeka, I think they're GPP considerations strictly. If I had to chase a goal, I would probably go with Tony. I think he's their best player so far this season. I know he just came back from injuries and he's been playing well. But if I were to pick one to chase a goal, that would be him. But I think just given that I think he is also well known amongst the DFS soccer players. So I do think his ownership will be kind of high. But yeah, I think Serge Canos is a good pick here today. He's going to cross the ball quite a bit, but like I said, this game is projected to be a more of a defensive-minded game, so we'll see where that leads us. Aston Villa on the other side, it all starts with John McGinn, and then Douglas Luiz, and then Matt Target and Matty Cash. They're fullbacks. So these four guys are probably the top four guys in my opinion. If you asked me like that question like 6 months ago, I would have said Buendia because that was a big signing for them, and he had been taking a lot of the set pieces and crossing the ball in the open play. I think he's starting to gain good form lately, except he's just not. There's just not much of a floor for him at the moment. I do think he makes a very good GPP play. But for cash, optimal high floor guys, I think I would stick with Cash, Louise, McGinn, and Target. I do project this game to be maybe 1-1 or 1-0 in favor of Aston Villa. Brentford has been such bad form. I like Aston Villa still, as the odds indicate, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford scores too. So we'll see. Let me see their previous history. Brentford hasn't scored the last 3 games. Say 0 goals, 0 goals. So even if they do score, maybe one is the ceiling for them. I don't know. They are playing against Aston Villa. So let me see if they have a head-to-head. Yeah, see, 1-1 was the last head-to-head. So, and then Aston Villa, they get lost against Chelsea. Chelsea's a good team, and then they beat Norwich. So, and then they lost to Liverpool. So against Brentford, Aston Villa should win and dominate possession slightly. But the last game of the slate is Everton versus Brighton. Even even match. Let's see the both teams to score. No, okay. So they do not think both teams will score under 2.5 goals again. So I don't know, a slate like this, after looking at the odds for all 3 games, except for the Leeds game, the other 2 games are gonna be at least projected to be low scoring games. So given that, I would focus on high floor guys. I would not be chasing goals because there will not be many goals projected at least. So the high floor guys are probably what I'm going to target. And I mentioned that about those high floor guys in the other 2 games. So I'll keep mentioning that about this game. So in this game, Everton, I'll start with the home team, Everton. Everton's a very interesting team. They've been up and down, like I said. Everton is in the 15th spot. Wow, they've fallen quite a bit. And Brighton's in the middle of the standings. Let's see their form. Yeah, Everton's form has been horrible. And then there have been a lot of draws for Brighton. So Brighton plays really good defense. So, like I said, this is going to be a low scoring game. But for Everton, I do think Everton will dictate the pace. I like Gray a lot, Demarai Gray and Anthony Gordon. Those guys are really good players. Have come alive this season. Richarlison's out. Andros Townsend is out. So their 2 best players are out. So that kind of puts a lot of pressure on Gordon and Gray, but also a lot of opportunities for both of them. And then if Lucas Digne plays, I fully expect Digne, Gordon, and then Gray split set pieces because Digne has not had a monopoly on set pieces this season. So I do like those 3 guys: Digne, Gordon, Gray, and then for GPP purposes, DCL is back, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and then Decore. If you are chasing goals, I like those 2 guys as well. And Coleman, yeah, I mean, he doesn't cross the ball as much as Digne or Gordon or Gray, but he's playing the fullback position, so I wouldn't mind him. And the other team, Brighton, like I said, they play more defensively, but McAllister has been taking some set pieces, and Cucurella has been really good up and down aggressively. So I like those McAllister, Cucurella guys, and then Lamptey if he starts on the fullback position like this. I do like him a lot. And for GPP purposes, I like Bissouma and Trossard. Malpay takes their penalty kicks, but not much of a floor. So Trossard and Bissouma are probably the top two guys for GPP consideration, in my opinion. So yeah, that's like I said, like this slate, low scoring slates, I think. So I think try to focus on the high floor guys like that I mentioned. And once the lineups come out at 8 o'clock Eastern time, I will share my insights and my favorite place. Thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a good day. And if you like the video, please like the video on YouTube and please subscribe to our channel. And yeah, happy New Year and hope to see you guys at the top of the leaderboard soon. Thanks. Bye.